Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat, and today we're in a new filming location. My daughter is napping, and the sun is setting, and the library is next to her bedroom. So I cannot film before the sun sets without waking her from her nap. And any other parents out there, you never wake a baby from their nap. So we're in a new filming location. That's her playroom, because the light is really good in here because it has all the windows. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna try to film 2 videos today, starting with 12 recent dark releases that sound amazing. I realized that when I was gone, a bunch of the books that I had my eye on came out. So this is the May and June releases. So all the books I mention, you can get your hands on. So without further ado, we're gonna kick it off with one of the ones that my Spanish speaking and reading, obviously, subscribers have recommended to me the most over the years, and I have been waiting with like great anticipation for its publication. So this is Bad Girls by Camila Sosa Villada, and this is about Camila, who is a trans woman. She wants to leave for the city and to go to university and live her own life. However, she eventually slips into prostitution to make ends meet, and she discovers the strange and wonderful world of the trans sex workers who dwell there. So this has been repeatedly recommended to me over the years, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I do have to say though that I liked the original cover better. I'll put them both here. Let me know what you think, but I think the original one with like the horse is pretty dope. Yeah, but really looking forward to that. So the next one I want to talk about is Not Good for Maidens by Tori Bovalino. This is a YA fantasy retelling of Christina Rossetti's Goblin Market. Lou doesn't believe in magic, that is until her aunt is kidnapped to the Goblin Market, and if she can't get her back in time, the Goblin Market will close and she can't get her back because it's not open all the time. So it sounds dark. I really love the cover with like the girl's face and then the like goblin, I assume, with like dripping blood probably. Love that. Next, I wanted to talk about Misrule by Heather Walter. This is the second in the Malice duology. I read the first one either earlier this year or last year, and I really loved it. It's a female retelling of Sleeping Beauty, and it was so good. I loved the ending so much, and a lot of people didn't love it, but oh, I thought it was so good and dark, and I was like, I love when people get vengeance and revenge. So basically in the first book, we're following a kind of witch who is on the outskirts of society because of her lineage, which is considered the darker lineage. So she's like not a pure grace, she's a dark grace. And she builds a friendship with the princess in the castle who's trying to fix a curse. And then I'm not gonna say more than that because I don't want to spoil it, but this one picks up where the other one left off, and I can't wait to read it. I really love duologies because there's only 2, so I don't have to commit for a long time. Yeah, and I'm just really looking forward to this one. Next up is one I have read. This is The Servant and the Gentleman by Annabelle Greene. And honestly, this is one of the only ones on this list that isn't dark. It has a little bit of dark elements, but like barely. It's mostly a romance. It's mostly a queer historical romance. So I'm sorry, but I did want to add it on this list because it did just come out in May. So this is by Annabelle Greene, who writes just lovely, soft queer historicals, and like, I love them. So this is about a clerk of a queer gentleman's club who has been in love with one of the owners of the club for a long time, Jackie. My dog's growling at people walking by. Jackie, hey, come here, baby. Hi. You want to say hello? Sorry, dog intermission. Come here. This is the very fierce protector that was just giving them the what for. Okay. All right, so in The Servant and the Gentleman, yes, the clerk has been like in love with one of his bosses for a while, but that boss is unfortunately like wealthy and entitled and doesn't notice people like below his station. So they've never had a chance to like really run into one another until the day happens when the gentleman has a panic attack and the clerk helps him. And that's kind of when they start something, like there's a spark. And I just thought that this was really sweet, and also the sexual tension was excellent. So I highly recommend it. The next one I want to talk about is These Prisoning Hills by Christopher Rowe. This one has been one of my most anticipated of the year. It says, in a long ago war, the all-powerful AI ruler of the voluntary state of Tennessee invaded and decimated the American Southeast. Possessing the ability to infect and corrupt the environment with nanotech, she transformed flora, fauna, and the very ground itself into biomechanical weapons of war. So we're following Marcia, a former captain from Kentucky, who has first-hand experience with those creatures. Now back in the Commonwealth, her retirement is cut short by the arrival of troops in her town, and one of Athena's most powerful weapons may be buried nearby, and they need her help to find it. I think it sounds absolutely wonderful. It totally gives me the same vibes as The Electric State by Simon Stålenhag, which is an amazing Swedish graphic novel, if you're into that. All right, next up I want to talk about Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. So this is about a 16-year-old trans boy who is on the run from the cult that raised him, the fundamentalist sect that unleashed Armageddon and decimated the world's population. Desperately, he searches for a place where the cult can't get their hands on him or the bioweapon that they infected him with. So he's cornered by a group of monsters. He's rescued by a found family of queer teens. And on the cover, I'm assuming that the main character has 6 wings, which is like a seraph, which I love seraph imagery. I'm obsessed with it. So I really want to read this. I've heard great things from my friends and like bookish people that I follow. I've heard nothing but good things, and it has a 4.28 rating on Goodreads. So definitely keen for this one. Then after that, we have a bit of ocean horror. This is From Below by Darcy Coates. It says, no light, no air, no escape. Hundreds of feet beneath the ocean's surface, a graveyard awaits. So we are following someone who is in a dive team exploring the SS Arcadia's rusting hull, like it's a ship that sank a long time ago. They want to examine the wreck, film everything, and uncover how and why the ship sank and vanished. But it says the Arcadia has not yet had its fill of death, and something dark and hungry watches from below. I'm here for it because I can dive wrecks. I have a lot of certifications. One of them, I can do wrecks, but I don't prefer to do wrecks anymore because it is extremely dangerous to dive wrecks. So this won't scare me because I won't be in that situation. So I think it will just be great horror. And I love any sort of ocean setting. And I love any sort of ocean setting, so I'm very keen. Okay, next I want to talk about Otter Still by D.N. Bryn. So this one sounds absolutely banana sandwich, and I'm so ready. So if you don't know, D.R. Bryn wrote Our Bloody Pearl, which is an absolutely amazing queer fantasy, and I highly recommend it, but that's why my attention is on this book. So Otter Still is the first in a series. It says, Rubum of No Man's Land was content keeping to his wine, his pets, and his extensive collection of fishnets. But since a sentient, fuel-producing parasite bonded to his brainstem, every morally depraved scientist and hardcore rebel for 100 miles wants to dissect him. The parasite itself is no better, influencing his emotions and sassing him with his own memories as it slowly takes over his body. The only person offering to help is Tavish, a dashing and manipulative philanthropist whose mother's fuel company monopolizes their corrupt underwater city with an iron claw. She desperately wants to tear Rubim apart for the parasite before her opponents can do the same. Her son is irresistibly charismatic though, and after a lifetime of being kicked out and disavowed, Rubim is desperate to believe in the friendship Tavish offers. Yeah, I think it sounds amazing. It says, it's an MM fantasy novel with class-crossing, slow-burn romance, murderous intrigue, and a Marvel's Venom-style parasite-human friendship in an underwater steampunk city. Oh my god. Sounds absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. It's giving me kind of the vibes of like a little tiny bit, The Membranes, which I read a few years ago from Taiwan, and it was really good. All right. Next, I want to talk about Boys, Beasts, and Men by Sam J. Miller. So this is a short story collection about queer infatuation, inevitable heartbreak, and brutal revenge. All right, so it says, despite his ability to control the ambient digital cloud, a foster teen falls for a clever con man. Luring bullies to a quarry, a boy takes clearly enumerated revenge through unnatural powers of suggestion, and in the aftermath of a shape-shifting alien invasion, a survivor fears that he brought something out of the Arctic to infect the rest of the world. Yeah, it sounds great. Sounds really good. Dark and queer is just how I like it. All right, we have 3 left. The Petting Zoos by K.S. Covert. So, we are set in a virus-fearing world where skin hunger can drive you crazy, and you can go to human petting zoos where you pet other people and you can return to yourself. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that actually, because I think that that's enough said. I'm very intrigued by the premise and I don't really want to know more. Human petting zoos, I don't think it's ever something I've read before. No, I don't think so. Yeah, so it's original and dark and I'm intrigued. All right, penultimate is A Crown of Hopes and Sorrows, #2 in Apollo Ascending. So, I read part of the first book, decided I was gonna fall in love with it and be absolutely heartbroken. So I'm waiting for all 4 to come out. They'll be out by the end of the year. So this is the second one. This is following Apollo, as Zeus has made him kind of intern under a prince who is very good at doing his duty and taking matters very seriously, and things happen from there. The world is very dark though, and Zeus is completely an asshole and unforgiving. So I decided I was gonna love it, it was gonna hurt me, so I'm waiting until all 4 are out, and the second one came out in June. All right, and then the very last one is another Eric LaRocca that came out, We Can Never Leave This Place. So it says, a precocious young girl with an unusual imagination is sent on an odyssey into the depths of depravity. After her father dies violently, she is surprised to find her mother welcoming a new guest into their home, claiming he will protect them from the world outside their door. Grotesque and thrilling dark fantasy. This is a harrowing portrait of grief and familial trauma. Yep. It will probably be super weird because I'm still mad about in Eric LaRocca's other one that like there was Chekhov's apple peeler and we never used the apple peeler. I'm still mad about that. There has to be an apple peeler in like some book sometime, but yeah, so I really like LaRocca's writing style, and also I appreciate his dedication to like shorter works. So those are all the ones that I wanted to bring to your attention. Let me know which ones came out May, June, or like anytime recently, because I'm planning to do a video reading subscribers' recommendations sometime, probably not September, but in the end of the year. So yeah, I'm looking for suggestions. I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing day, and I will chat to you in another video soon. Lots of love. Bye.